status review on a dependency case that's been with the court since 2021. We're conducting the hearing on Zoom. Let's see who we have. Several CASA volunteers are observing. Mr. Moore, the case manager, Mr. Skowronek, the attorney for defects, Ms. Evans-Battle, the attorney for the mother, Alyssa Schrock, the attorney and guardian ad litem for the minor children, and Mr. Pope, the father. All right. Mr. Skowronek, go ahead.
So, Your Honor, this is on, as you indicated, for review as to the aftercare order that had previously been in place and the goals, specifically for Miss Melendez Pope and Mr. Pope. The department reports that their family therapy for Eurice, the mother and the father, is currently apparently going with Loving Helping Hands. Ms. Pope, the mother, is currently in individual therapy. She's doing that every Wednesday. She completed her psychiatric evaluation and has been speaking with the department to locate a provider for medication management. That is ongoing. She is taking her medications again and is reported to be doing well. With regards to that, Eurice and Lyra currently reside in the home of Mr. Pope. Mr. Pope is not the biological father of Eurice. Department had spoken to Ms. Pope about giving guardianship of Eurice to Ms. Duzant. She was not willing to do that. At this time, the department is recommending, Your Honor, that the case remain as is. However, that Ms. Pope would be permitted to have unsupervised visits with the children at this time, that we review this matter in 3 months. If those visits have gone well, that we move to a series of overnight visits. And then hopefully after the overnight visits have been completed, that we can terminate this case.
All right. Ms. Schrock, are you in agreement with that recommendation?
Yes, sir, I am.
Parents, are you in agreement with that recommendation?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Moore or for the parent?
I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
Not for me, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I will approve that recommendation. And I want to thank both of you parents and Mr. Moore for working hard and making significant progress. This case has been a long time getting to this point. Actually, we thought we were close to a point like this once before, and things unraveled a little bit, but we're back on a great track, and that's most importantly to you parents, staying true to the plan. So keep doing that so that we can hopefully close this file. I'm retiring in September, so I want to be able to retire knowing that y'all are doing well and this file is closed. Okay?
Yes.
Anything
Yes,
else?
sir.
Anything else we need to address?
We do need a review date, Your Honor. I would suggest the review date be maybe sometime around the end of July, beginning of August.
Okay.
That's a little earlier than 3 months, but that would.
Does anybody know?
It would give us a chance to go to overnight visits right around the time that school is supposed to start up again.
But they're not in Henry County schools, weren't they up in Gwinnett?
Gwinnett, I think, yes.
Do y'all know when school starts back in Gwinnett County, parents?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I don't have an exact date, but I could get it for you.
Well, I could probably find it on the internet. That's why I go to.
I know it's in August, right?
Yeah, our
Yeah.
schools here start the first week of August just about every year, like clockwork. And I'm assuming most school systems have gone to that plan where you have a shorter summer, but you have longer breaks in between the school year. First day of school in Gwinnett County is Monday, August the 5th. And what did you say, Rhonda?
I backed it up a week.
Y'all still want to meet by Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take it for 12.
How about the 12th? That will be, the kids will have had time, y'all, and the parents will have had time to adjust to the start of school on the 5th and have that week, and then we'll come Monday morning, the 12th at 8 o'clock. Does that work?
Yes, sir.
No objection, Your Honor. What time?
8 o'clock?
And that's via Zoom?
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll just do an order.
All right. Thank you, parents. Thank y'all again. And Mr. Moore, thank you for your efforts. And we will see you in 3 months with good news. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Y'all take care. We'll conclude the hearing. We're back on Zoom for another review hearing following the 6-month review about 2 months ago. Mr. Scrivonic, the attorney for defects, the case manager, Mr. Moore, the guardian ad litem attorney for the children, Ms. Schrock, the mother, Alexis Johnson's here with her attorney, Ms. Evans Battle. The father is still in jail, as far as I know. Is that still right?
Yes, sir.
He's not here with us, and his lawyer, Ms. Crane, is here. He was in the Henry County Jail when we were here in March. Is that still right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does he not have a bond? You may have told me all this, and it may be the same. I'm sorry, but does he have a bond and can't make it, or has he been denied bond?
He have a bond, but he can't make it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Scrivonic, I know I wanted to come back and see what progress we had on the expanded visits that were supposed to have already been expanded before the March review.
Yeah, those have taken place, Your Honor. The mother has unsupervised visits with the children on Sundays from 9 to 5.
Okay, good.
So you want me to go ahead and make the rest of the report?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So previously, Your Honor, we were last in court in March, as the court indicated. The mother, Ms. Johnson, had completed her psychological parental fitness assessments. Those were done back in November of 2020. The mother had been evicted from her previous residence. However, she has reobtained housing, and as of December of 2023, she is in therapy with Loving Helping Hands. So that's individual therapy. I don't have it in the court report. The last time we were in court, she was employed at Fresh Point, and I don't know if she's still employed there or not. She's having unsupervised visits with the children from Sundays from 9 to 5. The medication management, I believe, has not been addressed with regards to the mother as well, which was part of her case plan, and don't have anything in the court report as to that. As to the father, Your Honor, he's been in jail since November of 2023. He previously completed his parental fitness and psychological assessments, and was cooperative with following the recommendations of those until his incarceration. He's made no further progress on his case plan as to those goals since November of 2023 due to that incarceration. He also had undergone DNA testing, but has not had, the child has not been legitimated. The permanency plan for ocurrs is concurrent plans of reunification, non-reunification, termination of parental rights. The permanency plan for Kamari is currently reunification. The department is asking at this time, and has asked at the last several hearings, that the permanency plan for Kamari be changed as to the mother to concurrent plans of reunification, non-reunification, termination of parental rights as well. And the department has reported that it continues to be its intent to file a petition for termination of parental rights in this case. Let me just look here real quickly to make sure I'm right. So reunification as to both Kior and Kamari, and then it was TPR as to Kior only as the concurrent, and Kamari's is reunification. So we're asking for Kamari to be reunification and non-reunification TPR as well, concurrent. This is the 5th permanency review as to Kamari, who has been in care now. In June will be 2 years. I think that's the extent of the report. Mr. Moore, do you have any information as to Ms. Johnson and her medication management?
No, sir. The last time, the only thing we have discussed with Ms. Johnson is about her being reevaluated, because her evaluation that she took with DFAC, she said that she wanted to get it redone due to, at the time that it was completed, she felt like she was at a bad time in her life, so she wanted to get that redone. Other than that, that was it.
Has there been a referral made for her to undergo a new psychological evaluation?
No, sir, not at this time.
Has Ms. Ms. Johnson provided you with any proof that she has gone and had a psychological evaluation of her own done?
No, sir.
All right. What about Ms. Johnson's employment? Is she still employed at the Fresh Point?
To my knowledge, yes, sir.
Has she provided you with any proof of that, paycheck stubs or anything like that?
She sent me an email after the last hearing with her copy of her lease, and I may have seen a pay stub in there. I'm not sure.
All right. So we were in court in March, so that would have been March, April, May now, at least 3 months of potential paycheck stubs. In the last 3 months, has Ms. Johnson provided you with any proof of employment?
Not consistent proof of employment, no. But she did send something after the last court hearing. I just can't remember what it was.
Have you been asking Ms. Johnson to provide you with those documents?
No, sir. I only asked that one time after the last court hearing.
And the visitation that the mother has had with the children on Sundays from 9 to 5, have there been any reported concerns with regards to any of those visits?
Not really. I think one visit that the transporter reported that she was kind of late, but other than that, no. Now she did miss a visit, but that wasn't her fault. It was the department didn't have a transporter for Mother's Day. But other than that, the visit's been going good, to my knowledge.
And has there been any further information reported to the department as to the perpetrator or persons who caused the injuries to Kior that led to that child initially coming into care in October of 2020 from either parent?
No, sir. It's the same. All the information is the same.
And both parents are blaming the other, correct?
All right.
Is the information that Mr. Skrvanik provided in summary form, is all that true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Moore?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. You've indicated that she's provided you a lease indicating she has had an apartment since December of 2023, correct?
Correct.
And has there been any issues with her compliance with the individual therapy?
No, ma'am, not reported to me.
Okay. And as to her job, she provided you with information when you asked for it, correct?
To my knowledge, yes. I think it was in the same email with the leasing agreement. That was only that one time.
Okay. And as for the medication, the evaluation, the evaluation in March of 2020 was conducted right when the children came into care, correct? When the
Correct.
child came into care. And so that was, are you aware that during that period of time my client was also involved in a car accident, very serious car accident?
Yes, ma'am. That is why she said she wanted to get reevaluated.
Okay, and so all of those traumatic events were happening then. So since the 2020, is there any indication that she's had any issues with her mental health?
Since I've been the case manager,
Well, since you've been the case manager, you had an opportunity to read the report of the previous case managers, correct?
yes, but since I've been the case manager, my physical observation of Ms. Johnson, no. That's
Okay.
what's going on.
All right then. And there wasn't any indication, anything in the notes that you previously read when you went over the file indicating that there was actually a need for her to, or that she was having any type of mental psychosis or anything that was going on with her mental health, correct?
No.
There's nothing that you can report.
There were a few notes in there about inconsistencies when it came to services, like the therapy services and things like that. But in
Okay.
terms of their physical observation of her having any type of mental episode, no.
Okay. And then the visitation, there were like a couple of orders in which she was supposed to have unsupervised visits and a team meeting. Our last court date being March 4th of 2024. When did that actual team meeting take place?
I don't remember the exact date.
Was it in March?
I think it was like the beginning of April, maybe.
Around April the 15th or 16th, is not correct?
Not sure. I don't remember the exact date of it.
Can you look, please?
It was on April 16th.
Okay. And when did the unsupervised visit start after the April 16th date?
That following Sunday. So that was that Tuesday. So the visitation would have started at 21st.
Okay. It took several months for this to take place. Was that at the fault of my client? Was she the reason that it took so long to have the meeting?
The family team meeting?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
And as to the allegations of abuse by, or the charges in reference to my client, isn't it true that the charges against my client that occurred and originally brought the child into care have been dismissed?
You said has been dismissed?
Have been dismissed, yes.
I'm not sure if the charges were dismissed. I didn't see the court document to show the charges dismissed. All I know is she served some time for that allegation.
Okay. And I guess the court would be a better
She served time awaiting before they gave her a bond, but she's never been convicted or pled guilty that I know of.
No, sir. And I think the court can take judicial notice that, I mean, we've been here every single time that issue has been brought up. The department has indicated, they have verified that her charges were dismissed.
Well, when you say dismissed, were they non-prost? Which technically means they can bring them back, which they rarely do, but
I would think that they were non-prost, but it's my understanding that they're not, that they said they weren't going to refile. As to her, that the evidence, my understanding from all the hearings that we had is that they didn't have any evidence against her as such. And Miss Crane is off the call. I just realized that.
No, she's there.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, I just saw the black screen. All right then.
Is that all the questions?
That's all the questions that I have. Thank you, Judge.
Anything else?
No, I just would ask just to refresh the court's recollection that the last order, in fact, has the recitation in the order about the mother having previously been diagnosed with anxiety, bipolar depression, and PTSD. And I certainly can understand, that that's what Mr. Moore was saying, that mother may have been in a bad place when those diagnoses were made, but bipolar is not something that's just going to go away. That's something that somebody's going to have for a lifetime, generally speaking, as far as my information would be. So that would be why the department would still have concerns about as to whether or not, Ms. Johnson is receiving any kind of treatment, medication to address those underlying mental health diagnoses that she's previously had. But no, Your Honor, other than that, that was the only thing that I wanted to point out to the court, is that the court did make those findings already about the mother's not having addressed medication management in March for those issues, and that still continues to be an ongoing issue.
Well, your case manager just said he hasn't observed any
True.
thing that gave him concerns about her behavior. Of course, he doesn't see her every day, all day, but
And that's reasonable, Your Honor. And I think that would be exactly what I would argue, is Mr. Moore has contact with her, face to face. Usually is only once a month, and otherwise it's probably over the phone or something like that. So, what is going on in Ms. Johnson's life outside of that, the department doesn't really know.
Well, no, I would argue to the contrary, of course, because she's here at every hearing. There's case managers here at every hearing, and there has been no case manager that has ever said that they have been concerned about her mental health, other than when the evaluation was completed, it may have recommended that she take medication. It may have recommended or given a diagnosis. But if she hasn't in 4 years taken any medication as a result of this, and she's exhibited no behavior, certainly we can it can be inferred at least that was based upon all the trauma that she was exhibiting then. And right now we're giving her unsupervised visits, and there have been no issues. We've been asking for more than a year for her to even get these unsupervised visits. And the reason continues to be that we don't know what happened to Cleor. Well, we know that at least criminally, she's not the person charged with anything happening to Cleor. And we may never know exactly what happened. That happens in many cases, but she cannot continue to be punished for something that nobody can prove whether or not she's done it. And right at this point, the state apparently thinks that they can't prove it. And here we have another allegation with Mr. Williams. And I don't even know if his charges were originally dismissed either. So, I just don't think I think that we're continuing to move towards termination of a mother who's been there she's been here every single hearing. She takes care of the children, even when they were in the care of her sister. She actually has less contact with the children now, of course, because they're with a foster care person. She went to all of their visits, Kior's visits in particular, with the doctors and everything. I mean, that's all the stuff that we've heard before. And I just think that we continuing to change a plan to non-reunification and termination is not appropriate when she's doing everything that's been asked of her. And she's at a position where she should be able to get more time with her children, if that extend overnight and transition those kids back into the home. And even if that means transitioning one child back into the home, I think my client will be fine with that. But I think we need to start moving in that direction.
I would just point out, Your Honor, it's not, the department's not asking for a non-reunification permanence plan. It's asking for a concurrent plan to include a non-reunification component to it. And, this child is, for the youngest child, is being in care now for coming up on 2 years on the 14th, which is less than a month away at this point. So, the law is, and the court is well aware of that, 15 to 24 months in care. And that's actually going to start changing now as of July 1, that as of, children coming into care or being in care 15 months, that, the guardians are supposed to be taking or supposed to be looking at having guardians filing. So I think given that the length of time that the child has been in care and that we continue to not know who the perpetrator for the injuries to cure was, that a concurrent plan would be appropriate for that child.
Anybody else?
Your Honor, I would just also just add that, approving a concurrent plan doesn't change the obligations of the department to continue to offer reunification services. And it also continues to obligate the parent to work her reunification case plan. But it does benefit the child in that it provides a backup plan and ensures that some planning starts for a plan B for the child. So I believe it's in the child's best interest, and I would ask you to approve that.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Tell me why, if there's still concerns about those diagnoses from a while back, why hasn't the department sent her for a new psych eval or for this medication management you mentioned that hadn't happened?
Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir. So me and Ms. Johnson have discussed her going to get a new psych evaluation complete. I just have to make the referral. She discussed everything that was going on at the beginning of the case to me in terms of everything that took place. And so we did decide that we would send her to get a new psych evaluation completed.
When did she start asking for a new reevaluation, Mr. Moore?
I think it was around March, maybe.
Okay. That wasn't something that had been, that Ms. Johnson had been asking for more than the last couple of months, correct?
She may have asked previous case managers, but in terms of me and her, it could have been like February, March.
Okay. And then you've been the case manager on this for these children since?
Yes.
Since when?
Since January.
Okay. What about the medication management would be coming from a psychiatrist, not a psychological evaluation? Has there been any talk with Ms. Johnson about having her undergo a psychiatric evaluation to determine whether or not she is in need of medication at this time?
No, me and her have not had that discussion. I think we did discuss like her history in terms of medication, but at that time, I don't think she had been taking medication for a while. So we didn't discuss the possibility of her going through the psychiatric, only the psychological.
And does the department have a psychiatrist that it can refer Ms. Johnson to for determination of whether or not she is in fact in need of any kind of medication to address any underlying mental health issues she may be currently experiencing?
Yes.
And how quickly can that be done?
I can make a referral today. It's just a matter of what availability they have to put her on the schedule.
Yeah. And then how quickly can a referral for an updated psychological be done?
That can be completed at the same time.
Okay. And just to be clear, I know the department usually has something about that, psychologicals can't be done, but I think it's every 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Is Ms. Johnson's psychological evaluation 2 years or older?
Yes.
Okay, so she would be eligible for a new psychological then, correct?
Yes.
Does that answer the court's question, Your Honor?
Yes. I want you to schedule both of those.
Yes, sir.
When are her, these unsupervised day visits happening? Every Saturday,
Sunday.
Sunday?
Mom's schedule is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. She's off. And Kiyor started school, which made us start her visitation on Sundays because her visitation used to be Mondays and Tuesdays.
What school did he start? He's not but 4 years old.
She started going to a special needs program at an elementary school.
Oh, okay.
I am looking, but that issue regarding her mental health, I just don't see it in any of the other orders. She and I discussed it today because I had pulled the March of 2023 order, thinking it was the March of 2024 order. And then, and I didn't remember seeing it in any of the prior orders, which is why we discussed it. And I know that they have brought it up, but we have so many orders and documents. I guess I hadn't seen it before. I still contend that, the department had some responsibility. They're the ones who are supposed to provide the service and offer the services, and if there was a concern, I just really think they should have done it earlier. And now waiting until we're at the end to decide is an issue when she's not exhibited any behavior to suggest that it is an issue.
Now, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I still think if she can benefit from it, it may be that she has, my understanding of bipolar, if that is a firm diagnosis and she has that doesn't generally just vaporize over time. But I'm counting on that extra, will give her some peace of mind about if she has issues she still needs to address or not. But what did I say last time, if anything, about eventual expansion to overnight visits? Or did I say anything about that?
I don't have anything in the order about them, Your Honor. And
No, I don't think, I know I didn't order an automatic, but I think I scheduled quickly because y'all had been so delinquent in starting the unsupervised visits that I wanted to make sure that they happened and to, because generally we transition from unsupervised day to some unsupervised night visits. The original, why they came into care was a little different in this case, that might push against that, but given the circumstances already outlined about there not being any criminal charges pending and nothing has ever been shown to me other than, the usual claim when this happens is that no one has explained. Sometimes people can't explain but anyway, I'm looking at.
the only thing.
Go ahead.
The only thing I see in my notes, and I was just going back to see if there was something in my notes versus what I had put in the order, and there isn't anything other than we were supposed to do the family team meeting within 1 week, which didn't take place for whatever reason, and to plan the unsupervised visits.
I didn't mean to suggest that something should have been in the order, but I thought that I may have discussed with the parties that I was trying to get the visitation back on track so that we could move to some overnight visits.
I honestly don't recall that, Your Honor. I don't know if the other Ms. Schrock, do you recall that? Ms. Battle, Ms. Crane, does anybody? I don't, but.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I don't know that we discussed it.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure I asked for it. I'm pretty sure I was asking in that direction anyhow, but I don't see it in my notes either that you specifically said you were going to. I know you wanted to see what the visits look like. That's why you rescheduled it early. And can I just bring up one more thing? I just been looking back at my notes that we didn't address was the mother had previously been going to the medical appointments for the children, and particularly with Kior. And the court asked the department to address that because she was no longer being given notification as to when her appointments were. And I didn't hear anybody say anything about that, but I know the mother, and speaking with her, she said that that's still not, she's getting notified after the appointments as to what happened, but she is not a part of the going to the appointments or getting direct information from the doctors.
Ms. Battle, I'll include that in this order.
Thank you.
That should have already been happening, Mr. Moore. I shouldn't have to tell y'all that. Now, if you give her notice of the appointment and she doesn't come, that's one thing. But if I think they're entitled. I've never, that I can recall, ever refused any parent the opportunity to do that if they can. Well, I'm going to expand her visits to have one overnight visit a month. Where she can have the Sunday. What time is the Sunday visit?
9 to 5.
Okay.
Do you want us to move the visitation to Saturday when mom get off work?
Well, what I was going to do is for this one weekend a month is, you tell me which would be better, to start it on Saturday and end it on Sunday at 5, or have the one visit a month that she does overnight, that it starts on Sunday for that day visit and just continues until the next morning for the kid to go to school. Although I don't, what is a 4-year-old going to miss one day of school? I'm sorry. They didn't go to, I guess there was a pre-K. The 4-year-olds did start going to school sometime in my lifetime.
Judge, if I just may, she would not want, because Kior has special needs and it's been difficult to get her into that educational setting.
Yeah.
She would probably want not to disrupt that. So the Saturday to Sunday would be great. And if she's able to get up on Saturday mornings and be available, then she could work that out.
Well, she could pick the kids up at noon. Now, I know that at one time, does this child still have special medical devices that they have to administer stuff with? I may be confusing this child with another one that we had a while back.
No, she doesn't have any.
Okay. There was one child that had some breathing treatments and stuff that had to be administered, and there was equipment that went with it. So we don't have any of that going on.
No, sir.
Okay. Well, then my idea about it is, I was looking at the calendar to see, we're almost at the end of May. So just, I guess we'll say the first weekend of June of each month for right now until we come back, that they go on Saturday and then till Sunday through what would have been the day visit, which you said ended at 5. So you can pick up, depending on her work schedule, she can pick the children up on Saturday afternoon or Saturday mid-morning, and whatever works in her schedule. I would like it to be consistent. So if can y'all work that out, or do you want, I need more information for me to be able to work it out because I don't know her work schedule.
We can work it out because normally the children are transported to the grandmother Tawanda Dinkle house, and normally that's where the visitation take place. So what can happen is the children can get transported there and then she can get them from there once she get off.
Now, I'm assuming, and I need to do more than assume and make sure that the residence that mom told me about, she's still in that residence?
Yes, sir.
And she's still working and has income and has her own transportation, she told me last time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and none of that has changed?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Good, okay. Well, keep plugging along and don't miss your visits and cooperate with this psych eval. And I thought, didn't you ask me 2 months ago to change the case plan and I didn't? Or did I reserve it?
We asked for the case
No,
plan to be
sorry,
changed.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm asking
Oh.
the defects people, I'm sorry.
My phone is overheating and cut off.
Oh. Mr. Scrivonic is now live in the courtroom because his phone quit working. I don't know whether the question to you or to Mr. Okay, the question was to either Mr. Moore or Mr. Scrivonic. I thought when we were here in March that you asked me to change the permanency plan and I didn't. So you're asking again 2 months later? That's a little unusual.
We've been asking since
Well,
before March.
I'm not saying you didn't, but I don't know what's changed in 2 months that would change if I just denied it 2 months ago. If anything, she seems to continue to be doing well.
It'd be more or less the time frame that the child's been in care. You're talking the child being in care now 19 months.
Well,
No, 23 months, I'm sorry.
anybody else want to be heard on that issue? We're going to be back. I'm going to set the review and so that it comes up within the 6 months of the 2 months of March. So it'd be in September. Anybody else want to be heard? I think Ms. Schrock already voiced her opinion. She was in favor of that, and Ms. Evans Battle was opposed to that.
Yes, sir. I don't have anything additional.
All right, I'm going to leave it like it is until September, and that may be the trigger point. But it has been a long time, but I think this is an unusual case, and I try to tell people every case is different, and I know we have to respect those timelines, but we have somebody who had some delays in her. I think the biggest delay was because of that criminal case hanging over everybody's head for a long time. And mom having that car accident that slowed her down a bit. And I think we have to take all that into account. But anyway, I'm not going to do it today, but if we're still sitting in the same boat without resolving some of these mental health issues and stuff, then I may look at it again. Okay? All right. You can take an order and circulate it. Any other issues that I need to address for your order?
Not for me.
Because this was an interim review. I think
Are you going to hear this before you retire, or is it going to be set after?
it's going to be, I just had it in my head and it has gone. Yeah, I did. That's 6 months.
Right?
No, September 30th. September 30th. So September 9th at 1 o'clock. Do y'all want to come in person or be on Zoom? At 9 o'clock, I may have misspoke. Do y'all want to do it in person or on Zoom?
Zoom is fine with me, Judge.
Zoom is fine, Your
Zoom
Honor.
is
What was the date?
September 9th at 9 o'clock?
At 9 o'clock?
Yes. All right. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll conclude the hearing. Dependency case filed by Charles and Gypsy Stanley back in 2021, at which time they were awarded temporary custody of the child, and we're here for periodic judicial review of that continued appropriateness of that placement. We're conducting the hearing virtually using Zoom, and we have several CASA volunteers observing for training purposes, I think. You haven't decided to volunteer for a private case, have you, Miss Dawadu?
Not yet.
What if
We haven't met our quota yet.
what if I just conscript you?
Oh, come on, please don't.
No, I'm not. I just, what if I did away with that 20-page report form? Would that make it more enticing?
My hands are tied.
Okay. All right. Well, the petitioners and temporary custodians, Mr. and Ms. Stanley, are here, and no one else is, so I'll find out about their whereabouts and testimony. Ms. Miller, the child's guardian ad litem attorney, is present. Mr. and Ms. Stanley, if you'd raise your right hands to take an oath to each of you.
Yes, sir.
Which one of you wants to be the spokesperson?
She
to
can.
answer- To answer my question? Who is? I wasn't looking, I'm sorry.
I can.
Okay,
I will.
all right.
Go. No.
Do y'all now live at 77? Okay. All right. Have you had any contact with the mother or the father?
No, sir. We've had contact once before, and the father, we reached out to him on Facebook
Uh-huh,
and spoke with him about, because he wanted to see the girls,
uh-huh.
but that was the last time we spoke to him, because he was asking about how he could sign his rights over. And I told him what Miss Ann Miller's office had explained to me about he would have to go through a lawyer, or he could be on the court with us. And I told him when court was, told him what he would have to do to get on court, and haven't really heard from him since.
Okay. Well, he can't sign his rights over on in a court hearing. Generally, lawyers fix up those papers. The court doesn't fix them up. And those are typically used when somebody's going to adopt a child. They're not necessary in a case like this where temporary custody is sought.
Right. Well, like I said, I mean, that was the last time we spoke to him, because he was just asking questions, and I told him, I
Okay.
said, you get the paperwork just like you do to come
Do
to
you know where
court. So,
do you know where either one of them is, mom or dad?
no, sir.
Okay. Tell me, is the child healthy?
Yes, sir.
Any special medical needs that require prescription drugs on a regular basis or regular visits to a doctor?
No, sir. She just had a IEP meeting done, though.
Okay.
I don't know.
She's
We
getting
just
ready
did
to
a
have her
preschool-
third birthday, isn't she? Later this week?
Yes, sir, on Friday.
Yeah. What would she have an IEP for? That's
So
fun.
we did
Go ahead.
we did a preschool diagnostics is what it was. And they're actually, so certain way the testing is, she gets to start preschool in August of this year.
Okay.
So she tested for an IEP, because their preschool diagnostics testing, there was some concerns they had, which is development delay and behavioral.
Okay.
So they approved her for an IEP, to have an IEP done. But it was something that the Babies Can't Wait program was recommending us to.
Okay. So have you started
So we were-
that?
Yes, sir. We had the meeting for it last week, and she got approved for it. So she'll start school in August of this year. I
Okay.
just got her enrolled in the school that I work at, because
Okay.
they have a IEP preschool class that will be there this year. So she'll be involved in that classroom.
All right, they're getting, I remember when 4-year-olds were in pre-kindergarten. Now you got 3-year-olds. What do they call that? Preschool?
Yes, sir. Well, she'll be in a DES preschool class, and it's for kids who are
Developmentally
kind
delayed?
of, yes, sir.
Okay,
But also since she's not potty trained, it'll help as well
okay,
that area too.
all right. Was she exposed to drugs during, in the fetus or, during pregnancy?
sir. Yes, sir.
There's a lot of those kids end up with some issues like that. And early intervention is the best way to go, so that's good.
Okay.
But you gotta promise me this birthday party you have Friday is not gonna spoil this child.
Oh, no, we have the birthday party Sunday.
You're gonna have it Sunday or you had it last Sunday?
No, we had it this past Sunday.
Okay, all right. So the only one who got spoiled were you and your husband, not the child.
She's spoiled rotten, Judge. She had the whole football team, offensive line at the high school football. At the high school up here, they had the whole offensive line here because they loved these little girls.
Oh, good.
No, she's fine.
Is y'all's health okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Y'all are healthy, you're young, so you're up to the challenge of raising, looks like you got 2 itty bitties. Didn't I see the second one a minute ago?
Yes, sir. Her
Yes, sir.
sister, her older sister.
Okay. All right. Has either one of you been arrested and charged with any criminal offense since I saw you
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
last? Has DFACS come out and checked on how you're looking after Summer or the other child?
No, sir.
Investigating any allegations that you're not taking care of them properly?
No, sir.
Good. All right. Don't take offense. I ask everybody on these reviews those same 2 questions.
No, you're fine.
Anything you want to tell me about Summer that I haven't asked you about?
She's mean.
I'm sorry?
Summer, do you want to say hey?
You
I said she's mean.
She's mean?
She's mean.
Look, say hey.
Your wife?
Can you say hey?
No,
Your
the
wife is
baby.
mean? Oh, the baby's mean. Well, who did she
Can you
learn
say
that
hi?
from?
Her sister.
That was a safe answer. Ms. Miller, you have any questions for the?
I do. Last time we were in court, she was walking with assistance of leg braces. Does she still have leg braces?
No, ma'am, she don't have those no more. Because she was doing a whole lot better. And instead of us getting them resized for her to keep wearing them, I was told that we didn't have to if we saw improvement.
Is she
Right.
walking on
So
her
she-
own
does
now?
she-
So it was just more or less to help support.
So she's walking on her own now?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Ms.
she's
Miller, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine.
What about physical therapy or speech therapy?
She does not have speech therapy and she does not do physical therapy. Her ABA therapy, we stopped because the way the lady grabbed her by her arm to pull her inside of the visit, because the place she was going to, the parents don't go in with them. They go in with the therapist and do their therapy and then they come back out to us. And the lady had a handful of stuff, but she grabbed Summer up by her arm. And the way she done it, it was just unprofessional to us. So we stopped the ABA therapy. And I spoke with the lady who was over that facility. But I was trying to get her into the facility where her sister was going, because I figured that would be maybe a little easier as well, because they work on the same thing that the ABA therapy was doing. So I spoke with them, and that's what we're working on as well, is trying to get her over there. But her speech and stuff, they told me that she seemed to be okay with that because she's learning well. I see it. Stop. You're deleting my email. Stop.
And I'm sure they'll help with that in school.
Yes.
Okay, I have no further questions, Judge.
All right.
I like it, Mom. I like it too. Oh, now
All
you
right.
want to wave?
If nothing further, I will approve the continued placement of the child with you. And we'll give you a date to come back and see us in 2 years, okay?
Yes, sir. Mom.
Now she'll be able to talk and she's going to tell me all kinds of stuff about y'all.
I hope so. Summer, can you say bye? Bye. You're not going to use a bunch of words?
The date is May 19th, 2026 at 1:30 p.m. All right. Thank you all for coming. And thank you for taking care of that pretty little girl, okay?
Thanks, Judge. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Now take care. We'll conclude the hearing.